looks like a landscape. Scarier in person. A cook can do something with this. scroungers. Nilda said I could find a metal panel in one of scrap holes. Time to fight. Subsiding. clever one. Okay, now to look through the scrap piles for a metal panel. Cook should know what to do with this. I think I have everything I need for Mildev. Good thing, too. I can use a decent meal. I can grab this from my stash later. one made.
Ah, there you are. I happen to receive another visit from Olvin himself. He was pushy, but I stood my ground. And dare I say it, I even got my own back. Yes, I did.
I'm listening.
When I made his meal, I used 3 pinches of salt. Instead of 2.
Each journey begins with a single step, I guess. I think I have everything you asked for.
Then just as you have inspired me, let us see if I can return the favor. Time to cook.
Wow. Mildif, that was inspired.
Next time you want the best provisions, you know where to find me. And your next order of any dish will be on the house.
Thanks. And don't forget to stand up for yourself.
Funny you should say that. As it happens, I'm already cooking up my next portion of resistance. Hope to see you again.
Oi! Refill!
It might be a good idea to stock up on some food before I head back out. Cleanliness.
Back for that free meal? Go on, peruse my menu.
Seat's always open.
It's a Tanakh. Come to revel in some strike, sister? Let me set the board.
I was just passing by.
First timer, huh? Don't worry about it. I'll go easy on you. You got any pieces?
No.
Well, aren't you in luck then? I got an extra set, a Tanakh original straight out of the Forbidden West. Sit. I'll run you through it in a hot spark. I'll give you something special if you win it on my boards, too. All right, let's start off simple. The Tanakh like to say that Machine Strike is a game of pure strategy. We each get a set of pieces. Each piece represents a kind of machine, and each machine is worth a different number of victory points. And to win the game, you'll need to gain 7 victory points by destroying the opponent's machines. It can be tricky remembering the details of every machine, so we use these. You see that number on the top right corner? That there is how many victory points you'll get for destroying that machine. Notes also tell you how far a piece can move, how powerful their attacks are, the distance they can strike from, and of course, their health. Okay, that's enough for now. Let's just play. I'll explain the rest as we go. I own the board, so I get to choose who goes first. Since this is your first time, I'll let you go. Usually you get to choose which pieces to set on the board, but this will do for now. Pick up that machine piece to your right, and move it forward. And remember, each machine can only move a certain distance. Take a look at your notes if you need a reminder. Easy enough, huh? Now, you get to move 2 machines each round, so go ahead and pick a second machine. Perfect. There's not much else to do for now, so just end your turn. We're forging onwards. Let me move my pieces here. And we're back to you. This time, why don't you try attacking one of my pieces? Try with that machine on your right first. Now move the piece close enough to attack one. When performing an attack, you'll be testing a machine's combat power is a combination and its own attack. This board only has and your current machine. So in total, your machine, since my machine isn't the one and just like yours, so right now, this means your machine can do 2 points of damage. Did you get all that? Knew you were a smart one. Finish up by attacking my machine. Not pulling any punches, huh? Now grab that second machine of yours. See how your machine can't move close enough to attack mine? You can make your machine sprint. That lets it move 1 space further. Try it out. Try sprinting up to one of my machines. Downside to sprinting is that your machine can no longer attack. Now, some players like to take a risk and overcharge their machine in cases like this. Overcharging lets you attack. You're gonna have to overcharge that machine to land a hit on mine. That's about it for your turn, then. Now, I'll let you in on a neat trick. That machine of yours, the one closest to me, grab a hold of it. Same as in the wilds, machines have both armored points and weak points. You can see them marked on the pieces. Blue shows where their armor is thickest. Hit them there, and you'll do some damage, but not a lot. Now, red shows the machine's weak points. Hit those, and you'll deal a mighty blow. Here, let me show you. Rotate that piece so your machine faces mine. Now let that machine have it. Off the board she goes, and there's your first victory points. You don't have 7 of them yet, so let's keep going. Your machine attacked mine, but hasn't moved yet. Go ahead and move downwards towards my remaining piece. You've already attacked a machine and moved your piece. But if you overcharge your machine, you can attack a second time. And by the look of your machine's health, you'd be sacrificing your piece to defeat mine. But sometimes, that can be a good thing. Overcharge your machine to attack mine. Ain't that a thrill? Now, because your machine was knocked out at the same time as mine, we both get the victory points our machines are worth. Good news is, since you're the one attacking, you're gonna receive your victory points before I do. Which means you can reach the coveted 7 victory points first. That's why sometimes losing a piece can be the best way to end a game in your favor. Now, you'll notice you didn't get quite up to 7 victory points this time, but you did destroy all my pieces. That means you're the winner! That wasn't so hard, was it? Just remember to always check for the best terrain to attack from. You'd be surprised the advantage you can gain over an opponent like that. I know it saved my behind in a game or 2.
I'll try and remember that.
Oh, before I forget, these are all my spare pieces. I want the Savior of Meridian to have them. It's a small set to be sure, but it should be enough to get you in on any strike games you find out there. You might even fancy looking out for them strike carvers. They've got all kinds of unique pieces that can turn a game in your favor, though they'll need the right materials to craft you one. Or you might find them in the wilds if you're lucky. I know I've lost my fair share of pieces after a night of machine hunting or brew hopping. No need to thank me, always a pleasure to help out new strike players. Now, if you feel like playing a real game, I've got plenty of other boards. I could even teach you a few more tricks if you're up for it.
Thanks. I'll think about it.
Ah, I knew I'd make a strike player out of you yet. How about this time I tell you how to use a board's terrain to your advantage? This one's got all the different terrains you can encounter in a game of Strike. Knowing when and how to use them can mean the difference between victory and defeat. Terrain mainly affects your machine's combat power. As you know, when fighting an opponent's machine, you compare its combat power to yours. The higher your machine's combat power, the more damage you can do. So finding the right terrain is an essential strategy for overpowering your opponent. Here, I'll show you. Grab that piece to your left and move to attack my machines. Now let's take a look at your machine's combat power. Combat power is the sum of a machine's attack power and the value of the terrain it's standing on. Since your machine is attacking, it's using its 2 points of attack power. It's also standing on forest terrain with a value of 1 point. Add those together, and your machine has... My machine is standing on grassland terrain, it's also not attacking, which means that... So my combat power is 0. This means... Go ahead and test it out. There you go. Now, choosing the right terrain doesn't just improve your offense. It can also help defend your machines from attack. Grab your other piece and place it in front. Since your machine is attacking, it's using its 2 points of attack power. It's standing on grassland terrain. This terrain has a value of 0. This means my machine can't use their attack power since they're defending their position. But they have the higher ground. They're standing on forest terrain, which is worth 1 point. This means my combat power adds up to 1 point. Now, the front of my machine is colored blue. This means that the spot, which means my machine gets an extra point. If we compare the combat power, you'll see that you won't be able to. Whenever you're unable to top an opponent, you can still choose to attack and break their machine's defenses instead. Go ahead, try it out and see what happens. Ha, see? When you break a machine's defenses, you can knock it backwards. All right, as we've seen, the higher the terrain, the more it'll add to your machine's combat power. However, there are 2 other terrains that work a little different. This is what we call a chasm. Only flying machines can be placed on those. But it'll take away 2 combat points if you do, so be wary. This is marsh terrain. Landing on it will take away 1 combat power point from most machines. It'll also keep your machine from moving for the rest of the turn. Here, let me show you. Grab that machine on your left. Your machine won't drown or anything. See? All you can do now is wait for your next turn to move, or you can overcharge your machine to get out of there. You can still attack any nearby enemies so you're not completely helped. Well, I promise it'll all come in. Here for more tips? Why don't I tell you a bit more about the pieces we used to play? In a normal game, you get to choose which machines you place on the board. Each one is worth a certain number of setup points, and you can spend up to 10 assembling your army. Knowing what each machine brings to the game and building an army that matches your strategy is the key to becoming a machine strike. When assembling your army, there are a few things to keep in mind. First and foremost, with that in mind, most players know how far they can move, but a real strike player will be looking at a machine's type. Let's take a quick look, shall we? All right, let's talk about the different ways in which a machine attacks its opponent. In other words, if you look at your notes, You'll see this machine here is a melee type. You can also tell by the shape of the base the piece stands on. A melee type machine attacks the first enemy within range. And we've seen this plenty of times, so just move that piece forward so I can show you some. Come on now, just move that. Great, now grab your other machine. Looks like we've got ourselves a gunner type machine here. This means they'll only hit the farthest enemy in their attack range. Let's move that machine forward and end your turn so we can take a look. Let's go with this piece first. This is a ram type machine. Attack an enemy with it and it'll push the piece backwards. Like this. See, now my machine has taken over your machine's spot. This is a great way to tame your opponent if they have the higher. Looks like we have one more piece to look at. Now this is a beauty of a piece. When it attacks, it'll move to the end of its attack range and damage every machine in its path, So make sure you take a good look at the board before you send it off to the races. You should also make sure it's able to finish its attack on an empty spot. Otherwise, you won't be able to attack at all. Here, I'll show you. Look, it even rotated your piece, a nifty little piece you'll definitely want. If you look at your notes, you'll notice there's quite a few of those, and we haven't even looked at all of them, but I'm pretty sure you've got more important. It's got all the tips. I think that about does it. This is gonna be fun. That's it for me. Okay, let's see. Board's all yours. You got me down to one piece. I am impressed. Time to make my move. Your move, Red. Now that was a game, even if I lost. Let's do this. You're up, Red. Time to get serious. Your turn. Well, that's done now. I'm up. Knocked right off the board. That was brutal. My turn. That's it for me. One less piece on the board. Just one piece left. That sure dampens the forge. Time to get serious. Your turn. My turn. Board's all yours. Okay, let's see. That's the game. You up for a rematch? Good luck. You're up, Red. Time to make my move. Your move, Red. That's it for me. Off the board it goes. Well, that's done now. Time to get serious. Single machine left? That ain't good. Hey! I like that piece where it was. You got me. Fair and square. Here we go. Okay, let's see. Board's all yours. Off the board it goes. Time to make my move. Your move, Red. I was hoping you wouldn't do that. My turn. That was brutal. You're up, Red. One less piece on the board. Come up. Knocked right off the board. That was brutal. Time to make my move. Well, that's done now. Oh, I won! Probably shouldn't sound so surprised, huh? Let's play! Your turn. I'm up. You're up, Red. My turn. Board's all yours. Okay, let's see. That's it for me. Knocked right off the board. Time to get serious. off the board it goes. One less piece on